Hi, this is Kaz with a question. Have you ever met your favorite celebrity? Was it a good experience? Was it one that lasted quite a bit of time? My guest can say that she had a lifelong friendship with legendary comedian and actor Paul Lynde. The name of the book that she wrote is Paul Lynde, the biography, his life, his loves, and his laughter. And you can get that on Amazon, by the way. She's a long friend. She's a classmate. Her name is Cathy Rudolph, and I want to welcome her to Cosmo Chats. Good to see you again.
And you too, Cosmo. Like you said, it's been eons.
Well, I just want to stress too, please buy the book. She owes me lunchroom money for those pizza bagels,
Absolutely.
but that's another story. So I got to ask, was there an it moment for you that you said, I've got to meet Paul Lynde? Was there one thing that stuck out in your mind that you had to meet a star like him?
I was in high school and was watching the Hollywood Squares, which was a very popular game show at the time. I loved him. I never heard anybody like him. I thought he was unique, handsome, his sense of humor. You know, my whole family, we enjoyed him. And I blurted out to, you'll remember, Mrs. Curry, God rest her soul, Mr. Zacher, Mrs. Morrissey. I promised them, I actually made a bet that I would meet Paul Lynde before I graduated high school. Don't ask me where this came from. God was listening, universe. I let it out there because 6 months later, I did a lot of research, and you'll remember some of my high school friends, Robin, Jean, Barbara, Pam, Jocelyn,
Sure.
Olive, the whole gang. We go to the library and I'd do research on Paul Lynde. That was my life every weekend. And one day it had his resume in a book with his phone number in it. I didn't know it was his phone number. It said business manager. And I called it, and Paul Lynde himself answered. He was shocked. A fan found his phone number, and I just blurted out, will you go to the senior prom with me? And he's like, I don't even know you. And I was so crazy about him, but I knew enough to keep the conversation going. He never hung up. I knew about his dog was having an operation. The conversation flowed. But after 7 times of asking him, can you meet me? Can you meet me? He kept saying, no, no, until I said, I'll have my father take me. Then he seemed a little bit less concerned, and he said, okay, you get 5 minutes, a picture and an autograph. That's all I can do. I knew he was coming to New York. I knew, did enough research. He lived in California, but he came to the Pierre Hotel every year for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it was Thanksgiving time.
Oh,
So he said, I'll meet you. You got 5 minutes only. Well, that turned into a lifetime friendship.
that's awesome. You know, Paul Lynde now joins a select group of celebrities that at least I know that would pick up the telephone on their own. So Tony Bennett, God bless him, has always been in the New York City phone book when there was people use the phone book. And my comedy hero, Stan Laurel, always picked up the phone when he retired to California. So bravo on that. So the first impression, you meet him, you go to the hotel. Were you like on cloud nine about that?
I was on cloud 9, butterflies in my belly, the whole bit. My dad all with me, very excited for me. My mother was home. She was rooting for me. She couldn't wait because we all knew how much he meant to me, even though I didn't know him personally. I just had to meet him. Well, we walk into the Pierre Hotel and it's on fire. Now, I don't know what to do. So my dad is like, oh my gosh, we got to get out of here. There's firemen running through the halls. There's hoses. I said, I'm not leaving. I have to meet Paul Lynde. Well, coincidentally, he was a little late running from a chiropractic meeting, and he came out through the revolving doors, and I saw him in the lobby, and I ran over. I said, hi, I'm Cathy Fitzgibbon, at that time, Cathy Fitzgibbon. And he said, oh, nice to meet you. Hold on. And he just said, here, read my telegraphs. He had a bunch of messages. I didn't even know what I was reading. I was in like shock. Very kind. Said to my dad, where's your dad? Right away, where's your dad? My dad's over here, brought him over. And he said, the hotel's on fire. Let's go down to the Sherry Netherlands. We'll get to know each other there. So it was supposed to be 5 minutes. For some reason, 2.5 hours later, we're still talking about his life, his career, myself, my dad. And when I left, he said, you got your picture, you got your autograph, as you promised. And here's my home address. I want you to come visit me in California. I couldn't have asked for a bigger dream. I would have been happy with just hello and an autograph. And he went above and beyond. So it was a
Oh,
nice connection.
that also says something about you and your personality, that A, you had the determination to do it, and B, you made
Mhm.
such an impression on them. Let's face it, nowadays, you get an autograph, there's lines, bye, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. Not everybody got what you got. So that's quite incredible.
It to this day, it really, and I had to write about it. And, it took me years. I said, this is an incredible story. I know other people can relate. And the fact that I put it out there and said, I'm going to meet Paul Lynde. I didn't know how. I didn't really know if it was going to happen. And then it happened. And then, okay, you meet them, you're a celebrity, whoever you like, but then they form a friendship. Then you go to their house. I flew to Beverly Hills. I saw him with his home, with my friends, went out there with him. And we kept every Christmas Eve, he called me. I mean, it was
Oh,
like, it was like a family chain of people he called. And I was one of them. Every Christmas Eve, when he came to New York, he would see me. It was a really special relationship. Really, really amazing.
you were actually, people don't know the term now, but pen pals, right? You write
Yeah,
letters,
at the
get
time,
cards,
yeah.
stuff like that. How many letters and cards did you receive?
I have a bunch of he used to send little postcards because remember those days it was long distance to call somebody.
Sure.
So we make arrangements because he was busy, his schedule was busy. And he used to complain every time he called my house, my line was busy. I have three sisters, four daughters, usually me on the phone, mostly talking about Paul Lynde. And you could never get through. And we used to just, I'd call him and then leave a message through a letter saying, hi, he would say, I'll be home Saturday at 6 p.m. Good time to talk. And that's how we would call. I mean, now and then I would call him out of the blue or he'd call me without knowing. But that was the old days. That's how you did it.
Yeah.
Really
Now,
old days.
I got to put you on the spot here. When we were growing up, some of the people that were like so popular that there were posters like the Beatles, the Stones. Did you have any Paul Lynde stuff hanging on the wall in your room?
Of course, of course. First I had Donny Osmond, then I had Robert Redford, then I had some Tiger Beat kids. I don't remember all of them. Bobby
Sure.
Sherman. Eventually they came down. Paul Lynde was plastered in my room.
There you go. I just had to double check on that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So obviously, growing up as a baby boomer, everybody knew Paul Lynde from the Hollywood
Oh, yeah.
Squares, just a legend on that show. He did so many other things. Did he ever feel or communicate to you like, Hollywood Squares is great, but geez, I was the star, one of the stars of Bye Bye Birdie and all these other programs, Bewitched. Did he ever mention anything like that to you?
Sure. He said he loved doing Hollywood Squares. It made him who he was. He became a household name. Now, his career, long story short, it's all in the book, but he went to New York after graduating from Northwestern. He was their number one actor in the school, so he thought he was going to make it here. Well, 9 years here in New York, nothing until Bye Bye Birdie. I mean, he was selling his blood. He had no money. I mean, it's very sad, but he struggled. But then Bye Bye Birdie opened it up. He became a celebrity as of that day. But then nothing again for a while. But then it got bigger because he became the most wanted guest on every sitcom TV show. Carol Burnett. Oh gosh, I Dream a Genie. Of course, Bewitched. He did only 11 episodes. People think more because he made such an impression on the show. And every sitcom out there, every special variety show, Mac Davis show, Glenn Campbell, you name it. He was on everything. It made him unbelievable. But Hollywood Squares was selling his tickets when he did summer stock in the summer. He said they're sold out because of Hollywood Squares. So he was kind of trapped in there because if he left it, he was afraid he wouldn't get a lot of stuff. He wanted to do more movies. He did 11 movies. He didn't love them all. He did some great movies too. Yum Yum, Under the Yum Yum Tree, Last Bottom Boat. I thought he was great in those. But he was kind of, between a rock and a hard place. And Hollywood Squares was a lot of your time, but he made sure he could still say yes to every sitcom that he was invited on. So it was like a double-edged sword for him. He loved it. It made him popular, but he also wanted to do more.
He had some, like we all do, he had some demons with him as far as, I guess if you wanted to say he wasn't the most pleasant person to be around if you had a lot of alcohol.
Hmm.
Were you around in those situations
Oh,
or?
sure. Oh, sure. The
Yeah,
good thing for me was he became more loving and affectionate to me.
okay,
Not that was I saw more and more how much he really did care about me. There's a scene in the book which gets a lot of controversy, but I love it. Is where he kisses me very passionately, saying he loves me and he's singing to me. He's had quite a few in them, but I loved every moment. And my mom and Robin and Patty Kahane were there, and they're yelling, "Oh my God, Jerry!" That's my dad's name. Get him off of her, because he's kissing me very passionately. And my dad said later, I let her have her moment. He knew Paul was probably a gay man. Nobody was positive at that time,
right.
but my father felt he was safe with me. He got to know him too. So it was another moment in my life with Paul. So with other people, Kay Ballard, I interviewed for the book, Cloris Leachman, some of them didn't speak to him for a long time because he could be very vicious, even to his very good friends. And some forgave him, few did not.
Okay.
And that's who he was. And he knew it. He always said, I'm a very bad drunk. He used to say I'm very mean.
If you haven't heard, there is going to be a movie about Paul Lynde, and Billy Eichhorn is going to star. Cathy was quoted extensively in Entertainment Weekly about her book. Are you happy with the casting of him playing Paul Lynde?
I'm not sure what they're going to do with the movie. They did contact me, maybe because of the pandemic. It just got very quiet. I'm hoping they're still going to do it. Not sure what angle they're going with it, but I believe it's time. The time is right now to make a movie about Paul Lynde.
Like you said, cross your fingers, because pilots and scripts go left and right. Everybody gets excited about them, and then unfortunately they don't go anywhere. But are you pretty happy with the casting of Billy as Paul Lynde?
I checked Billy out on some shows. I wasn't that familiar with him. I guess with makeup these days they can make anybody look like somebody. He's a little taller than Paul was, but I think his background and his personality, with the right script and the right story, could make it work.
Sure. Hey, anything can happen. My wife thinks I look like George Clooney. You have to drink 2 bottles of vodka and shut the lights off. That's another story.
There you
So
go.
let's do this for a second. I know you're a mom. Who do your kids have on their walls at this point, or did, as far as stars go?
My son, oh gosh, I can't think of her name. He liked one girl, but they weren't in their rooms. Their rooms were mostly posters of my daughter's a musician, so
Oh,
she
okay.
mostly had single posters. And my son more had his room Knicks fans and Yankee fans and things like that. They were
Okay.
more, you know. I have a wall of Paul. I still have it,
Okay.
of Paul in, and which
Hey,
is
might as well keep it going, right?
that's right. They're right.
So
They're great memories.
I want you to think about this for a second. We grew up, as you had mentioned, at a time where, hey, it's a long distance phone call. There was no internet. There was no cell phones, nothing to that extent. Phone calls, pen pal type of thing with you. If we could fast forward our lives till now, and Paul was still with us, do you think it would be easier or harder with all the social media platforms that we have nowadays to make the contact that you had with him?
Oh, you mean if I didn't happen to find his phone number and it was I think I'm pretty persistent at what I want. I would have found a way. Maybe he would have gave me a tweet back. I would have been thrilled.
Okay.
And I do understand sometimes these celebrities will tweet back somebody. It's rare, but they do it now and then. I think Paul, because his personality was, he loved the loyalty of his fans. He had no children. That was his real love in life, to be around his fans always. And, after shows or anything he did where he was in a play, he would stay at least 2 hours after to make sure everybody got his autograph and he said hello to them. He loved that. So,
And how many stars can say they did that? Not too many.
no,
Not too many.
no,
So you
no.
have the success of this book. Is there another book in the works down the road for you?
I did just something for a magazine recently, but not on any subject of Poland. And I do have ideas possibly for another book in the future. I'm just gonna wait and figure out which way I want to go with it. We'll see. I've been asked to do certain other celebrities. I'm not as passionate as Paul, so I have to make sure I'm passionate about
So
what I'm
can-
gonna write.
So you can throw a name out, or?
I don't want to say right now because I haven't committed to it. They want me to do it, but we'll see. We'll see.
Cool. Hey, listen, it's on Amazon. Paul Lynde, the biography, his life, his loves, and his laughter. Congratulations to
Thank you,
an
Cosmo.
alumnus of Levittown Memorial. Really proud of you. I wish you nothing but the best, and we'll do this again sometime when you have the next book.
You got it, Cosmo.
Hey, thanks
Nice.
so much.
Okay, take care.
Take care. Thank you.